So to start, you're going to head over to the BYU library webpage. We're super fortunate because BYU subscribes to lots of different databases, which in turn subscribe to lots of different academic journals. So we have access to just lots of good stuff and full articles, as opposed to just looking at an abstract or just part of an article, because that's often what happens when you use Google Scholar. So for this class, I would recommend using Web of Science. I like Web of Science. It's this first one if you search it in the databases. I like Web of Science a lot because you get access to just a broad spectrum of topics. You can also use PubMed. PubMed is a database that is specifically designed to focus on medical related articles. So that might be nice because this is an evolutionary medicine course. PubMed might be a good resource. That being said, Web of Science will include medical research in addition to the broader science behind some sort of evolutionary principle or medicine principle. So I think Web of Science is the better choice there, but there will likely be carryover between what you do on Web of Science and what you do on PubMed. So when you open Web of Science, you're going to get this search bar. When I wrote my paper in Bio 250, I wrote mine on antagonistic pleiotropy. This is a topic we'll talk about later in class. You're going to want to put phrases that you want to be searched for together. So words that you want to be joined together when you are doing your search, you're going to put those in quotation marks. That just tells the database to look for those words as a conjoined phrase. And then if you want to search for like a phrase and another word, just put and between those words and it'll search for all of them. So right now I have it set up to search for this phrase as well as the word stress. And you can also search by publication name and topic, title, author, that sort of thing. Most of you will just use topic. Okay, perfect. So it's going to give us this list of possible articles that we can look at. Let's just go ahead and look at this first one. I always think it's best to open these in another tab. That way you can keep this main list available when you want to compare articles. So when we go over here, the first thing I look at is the document type here. If it says something like article, this early access thing doesn't really matter. But as long as it says article instead of something like review or editorial opinion or something like that, that's a good sign. If it says something besides article, that's immediately going to tell you that what you're looking at isn't primary literature. But since it says article, there's a good chance that this is primary research. So after doing that, I'll read through the abstract on the rest of this page, just make sure that the keywords I'm searching for show up somewhere on this page, and mine do. So after I do that, I'm going to go up here to the Get It at BYU thing, click on that. It says I can get the full text here, so I'm going to click on that. Sometimes these full text won't be available here. That'll ask you to do an interlibrary loan, and those are super fast and super easy. So if you can't get access to it immediately, just request an interlibrary loan and you can get it. Okay, so it looks like here is the full article. Right off the bat, I'm just noticing that this abstract is weird. Don't write your abstracts like this. So that's like a first sign that this might not actually be primary literature. I'm going to go up here and look at the sections on this article. And I'm not seeing a clear methods section in this table of contents. And that tells me that this is probably a meta-analysis or a review paper. So this is not something I could write a literature summary or cite in my review paper. And that's just because we want you to be citing direct research. So only primary literature should be cited in your review paper. Consequently, your literature summary should only be written on primary sources as well. That being said, secondary sources are really nice resources for finding primary research because they cite primary research. So even in this introduction alone, there are like 3 different primary sources that I'm seeing just in this first paragraph alone. And so what's nice about review papers and meta-analyses is they can often give you access or a starting point for finding primary research articles that are related to the specific topic you're writing on. So these are still super great. They're often better for understanding your topic as well. Just they tend to be written more clearly. There's less technical jargon in these. So Secondary resources, still super great, super helpful for writing, just not exactly what we're looking for in terms of your literature summaries or your review paper. So let's head back to my list over here, and let's look at this second one and see if this one works. So we'll open it in a different tab. I'm going to go through and make sure that my keywords are showing up. It looks like they are. The document type is an article. It's a good sign. We'll click on this. Okay, perfect. So it's pulled up the full article. So now I'm just going to go and see if there's a materials and methods section. Looks like there is right here. Perfect. And as soon as I see that there's a methods section in this paper, that's what tells me this is a primary research article, just because all the research is contained in here. When I'm reading a primary research article, the things I focus on mainly are the abstract, the introduction, and then the discussion or the conclusion of the article. I find that often the methods and the results are just harder to understand. And if you can feel like you understand the scope of the paper from just the abstract, the introduction, and the discussion alone, that's a good sign. That being said, you do need to write about the materials and methods section when you're doing your literature summaries. So do take a look through that. We're just not asking you to be super detailed. You also won't be super detailed about the methods and the material section in your review paper either. Okay, so that's how I use Web of Science. You'll see down here that there are lots of ways that you can refine and filter your searches to find specific things. That's another reason why I really like Web of Science. I just think it's a little bit more user-friendly than other databases. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to send me an email, come to my office hours. All of the TAs are capable of finding research articles, and we're all pretty good at it. So if you need help, don't hesitate to reach out. Good luck.